Good morning. This is Out of the Forest. I'm Kaylee. I wanted to talk a little bit about ADHD and how it is diagnosed in our world. One of the big controversies with ADHD is over whether it is a real diagnosis or if it's something that is just sold by the pharmaceutical industries to sell as drugs or to put everyone on drugs. Well, as I've said, I was diagnosed in 1980, which was, I think, the first year. I think it was 1980, because that was actually the first year that, as I was looking through a timeline, that the term attention deficit hyperactivity disorder or attention deficit disorder was actually put into the lexicon. It was an actual diagnosis that was created. And I was one of the first. I know a lot of people that are watching this probably were diagnosed later on in life. And therein lies the rub, because one of the controversies is that a lot of kids and a lot of people are being diagnosed with attention deficit disorder or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And whether or not this is an accurate diagnosis or if it's just a diagnosis to sell drugs. Well, both are true. I believe that attention deficit hyperactivity disorder or attention deficit disorder is in fact, real diagnosis. Okay. However, at the same time, I also accept and see and believe that it is a very overdiagnosed, a very overdiagnosed condition, or whatever you want to call it, indefinitely to sell drugs and to sell this thing. We all know this. I mean, we should. Be aware of how things become popularized, things become trendy, things, if you can make money off of something, there's someone that will, if someone can make money off of something, they will. That's just the way it is. And my computer just went off. I don't know what's going on. Why is my computer going off? I need to get to my computer. Anyway, my computer's doing weird things this morning. Anyway, sorry. So I believe that attention deficit disorder is real, but I also believe that it has been very overdiagnosed by the drug companies and by the psychiatric community in order to make money off of it. Both things are true. I know that my brain works differently and that I have had other emotional problems throughout my life. And part of why I'm talking about this on my YouTube channel is because I think that it is really critically important to understand that both things are true. And how do we move forward with this without accepting automatic authority from teachers, psychiatrists, doctors, etc., and these drug companies saying, here, take my medication, and getting us hooked into that whole system. We may need medication for some things, but that's something that you have to make a choice of yourself. And I think being armed with awareness and knowledge about everything is critically important. So that's why I started this YouTube channel, to kind of talk these things out. As I've said, when I was 10, I was diagnosed with severe anxiety neurosis, which is a really horrible sounding diagnosis. But looking back on that, and that may have set me up for the way I was treated. However, looking back on my struggles growing up and my struggles as I grew into adulthood and into my adulthood, something was going on. I can't deny that. How I was interacting, how I was responding to stimuli around me, to people, to environments, to events. I always said I can't handle stress well. Well, why can't I handle stress well? I mean, we live in a very stressful society. We live in a very distracting society. Those things obviously can aggravate anybody, and I don't think that they are benefiting people as, in general. I don't think that it's a very helpful thing. Like I was talking about in my other video, that, too much screen time, too much, being on the phone. We all know this. People are writing about this. People are saying there's something really wrong. We need to get out into nature. They talk about nature deficit disorder, that we're not out in nature enough. We're not outside. We have too much loud stimulation, and it can aggravate anybody. Whether or not you actually have a condition or not, it can be aggravating. So we do need to treat those things instead of saying, oh, well, you're really distracted on your phone, you must have ADHD. No, obviously that's not true. If you have ADHD, that may be more of a problem. But understanding a pattern and a trend throughout your life is really critically important to be aware of. And so I know a lot of people, as I'm doing my research, I'm noticing how a lot of people who are adults were just diagnosed, like within the last 10 years of their life. And my journey is so different from that. I still have yet to come across somebody who said, hey, I was an ADHD kid in the 1980s or something. Even a guy. I'm not saying they're not out there, obviously, but I haven't really had that. And it's a little frustrating just because I'm just going, okay, hello, So I don't, did my early diagnosis affect how I was raised? Were the influences of teachers, doctors, professionals, and me being put on medication early on, were those choices that were made for me, did they help or hinder me? Good question. I'm 51 years old. My current theory is that they probably hindered, because people had a very limited understanding of environment. And we keep making these mistakes in our society. We're more aware of them, but nothing's really getting done. We talk a lot about it, and some people are lucky enough to break free and to get out there and say, I have broken free from this structure of society that is labeling me or, affecting me or throwing me on drugs and telling me I've got a problem, and I'm going to go out and my life is creative and wonderful and it's great. But there's a lot more people out there that are still trapped. And I feel like, honestly, that I'm one of them. I'm just trying to make it through, because I really have a problem with society and societal structures and the way my environment is. And I know that my environment directly affects how I handle things. And I struggle against that. And sometimes the force of society is so powerful that I end up having to take a little bit of Adderall just to cope, just to get through that event, to get through that task or whatever. And that really, it feels so defeating. When I broke down a few years ago, when I was in the middle of a really stressful move, I had been not willing to be on antidepressants, which I will never go on ever again. And I'll talk more about that later. But I also didn't want to take ADHD medication, because I really felt like, well, I can do this naturally. And as I've said, while keto has helped me in many numerous ways, it hasn't necessarily cured my ADHD. It hasn't fixed that as easily. And I will say that sometimes taking a little quarter Adderall sometimes helps. I try not to do it all the time, because I would rather focus on more natural things. But my journey, I mean, I'm really one of those persons that sees environment and societal culture and everything as really needing to change. But that is such a monumental task. And so it's like, am I beating my head against a wall trying to make people see how this, and I'm this hypocritical person. I'm on the phone, I'm recording, and I'm, doing screen time when I shouldn't be doing screen time. I'm just wishing there would be more of a conversation about this. And so, again, this is why I've started my YouTube channel, so we can talk about this stuff. So anyway, I'm going to stop this for now. I got to get to work. And if you have comments about this issue, please feel free to put them down below. And remember to subscribe and share this with your friends if you find this video helpful. I'm hoping today to be meeting with a friend. She's a counselor, and we were talking about maybe doing some discussions about the issue. She's got ADHD too, and how do we handle this, and some solutions and stuff. So thank you very much for your patience and starting my journey with ADHD. Wow, and other things. I'll say this isn't just going to be about ADHD, but obviously this is kind of like the focus I'm dealing with right this very now. Anyway, have a wonderful day, and thank you very much for joining me. Remember to subscribe. Thanks. Bye.